Good evening. Helps if I pull the mic down. Oh, man, I'll tell you. It has been a dreary, rainy day today, all day long. Pretty much all it's done today, other than cool off, which absolutely sucks, because I was starting to like the whole idea of 70-degree days. But anyway, it'll be warm again soon enough. Not for a week, mind you, at least, but soon. Anyway, other than that, I'm sure you guys are probably aware of most of the big things that I am. They caught the guy that they suspected the shooting in the New York City subway. They actually are charging him with terrorism. Now, that shocked me. I didn't think they were going to go there, but they absolutely did go there. And so that, to me, was the big news today. There were other moves as far as, with nations and stuff that were significant things that definitely need to be mentioned. Just a continuation of the way things have been going, which isn't necessarily a good thing. Anyway, I've got some tabs open. I don't have any type of particular subject or anything like that to talk about before I go into stuff. So, man. Anyway, like I said, I don't really have anything that I can think of. I pretty much just kind of kept an eye on news today. I did some flying in the simulator today. I almost actually went live. I was contemplating it. I was tempting it, going live and blowing through a couple of tanks worth of fuel and maybe a few different planes. So who knows? Maybe tomorrow or something I'll feel up to it. Maybe after coffee in the morning or something. And you might see me just randomly pop on live and, I don't know, fly an F-18 or something. But anyway, got all kinds of stuff I can choose to play with. So that's what I flew today. I flew the F-18, the F-104. I checked out the new Concorde. It's anything from DC Designs is crap. My opinion. I'm allowed to have that. Just happens to be shared by anybody that. Trying to think what else I did fly today. I didn't fly the F-35. But I know there was something else. There was like a couple other planes I flew, and I can't remember. Oh, I flew a Rans 14. Flew it for a little bit. That's a sweet plane. I don't know. Like I say, maybe tomorrow I'll pop on and take you guys flying with me for a little bit. I usually like to terrorize New York City, and well, not in the shooting suspect kind of way, but that's what I do. I fly. I like to fly down into the city and stuff like that with jets. A lot of fun. Anyway, not to veer too much from the topic of terror, we'll go ahead and start this stuff. New York City subway shooting suspect charged with terrorism. Again, I was shocked. I didn't think that they would do that. I didn't think they would go there, but they did. Police in New York City have tracked down and arrested Frank R. James, suspected of firing over 30 rounds into a crowded subway station on Tuesday. Now, this cat had a YouTube channel that was active until sometime today. How do I know this? Because, well, I read an article from, I don't know what outlet it was, but it mentioned the name of the YouTube channel. So I went and looked, and sure enough, there it was. I didn't subscribe. Didn't subscribe, but I wanted to at least ping one of the videos so I could go back in the history, my history, video watch history, and get back to the channel. And that's why I clicked on one of the videos, and I listened to a little bit of it. The guy's like just completely whacked. But anyway, they took his channel down at some point today, because now if you try to go back to it, it tells you the account is no longer there. So anyway, I thought that was crazy. Let's see. It says he faces federal charges for a terrorist or violent attack on public transit and life in prison if convicted, prosecutors said on Wednesday afternoon. James, 62, was taken into custody in Manhattan's East Village on Wednesday, about 30 hours after he allegedly shot up 36th Street Station in Brooklyn. While no one was killed, 10 people were hospitalized with gunshot wounds, while as many as 19 more had suffered other injuries. The attacker fired at least 33 times and set off smoke grenades in a crowded rail car. U.S. Attorney Breon Peace said that James will be charged with a federal offense under a statute that outlaws terrorism and violent attacks in mass transit systems. Peace said that there's no indication James had ties to a terrorist organization, domestic or international, and his motive remained unclear, however. According to police, the elderly African-American man has a long prior criminal history with 12 arrests in New York and New Jersey for things like burglary, larceny, trespassing, a criminal sex act, and theft dating back to the early 1990s. The gun used in the shooting was tracked to a pawn shop in Ohio, where James bought it legally in 2011. Police believe he drove up to New York from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania on Monday in a rented U-Haul van that was found outside the station. According to AP, the authorities are currently investigating his financial and telephone records, as well as hours of rambling, profanity-filled videos James posted on YouTube and other social media platforms in search of a motive. So, I know they're going and they're searching for this motive, and they're, we have no idea. And, well, I have no idea, why somebody would do that. But I think he made it clear in his videos. I've heard a little bit myself. There's a guy that's got a Rumble channel, and he put a little bit of the videos up on the Rumble channel. And one of the videos, he was making racial references towards Asian people. Now, mind you, yesterday when I was talking about this, I was telling you that it was a Asian Hispanic neighborhood where this particular train station. So, it could have been targeted in that manner. He could have been there because of, and I believe he actually made racial references towards Mexicans as well. Mexicans, Asians, and obviously white people. So, yeah, I think they have their motive, but see, they're kind of between a rock and a hard place, because they can't admit it. You know what I mean? They can't admit it, that this was a hate crime, right? Why? Because he wasn't white. That's why. I mean, I'll just flat out say it, because he wasn't white, so it can't be a hate crime. It's crazy. But at least they are picking him up on some kind of terror charge. I'll give them that. Because it was that. It was absolute terrorism, because that essentially is kind of like a political stance, His, I guess you would call it black supremacy. I guess that's what it would be. Let's see. Japan gets unofficial invite to join AUKUS, says media. I thought this was interesting. Says Japan has received unofficial offers to become part of the AUKUS military bloc, which was formed last year by Australia, the UK, and the US. The Sanko Shimbun newspaper reported on Tuesday. Several unnamed Japanese government officials told the paper that Tokyo had been informally approached on such a possibility by each of the three members of the alliance. Japan's chief cabinet secretary Hirokazu Matsuno denied the report on Wednesday, saying that there is no fact in the Sankei Shimbun article. Tokyo was not asked to participate in AUKUS, he said. The AUKUS Pact, which is largely seen as strategy to counter China's growing influence in the Pacific, was announced by the leaders of Australia, the US, or UK and the US in September of 2021. So, they deny it, but I'm sure they were probably asked. Pentagon warns of dramatic increase in space challenges. Well, of course, that's why we needed Space Force. Competition from Russia and China to the U.S. and its allies in space has increased dramatically. Well, that's dramatic. America's Defense Intelligence Agency said on Tuesday. Moscow and Beijing are also cooperating on exploration and may soon start exploiting the moon's natural resources, U.S. military officials claimed, which basically, let me break that down, means that since they suspect Moscow and Beijing of exploiting the moon's surfaces, that means that the U.S. government has to further exploit our surfaces, right? So, in other words, we're going to get bent over a little harder and paying for that one, too. The DIA, the Pentagon's intelligence arm, delivered the warning as it presented to the public its update to the 2019 report entitled Challenges to Security in Space. China and Russia continue to take steps to undercut the advantage that American military enjoys in space assets. John F. Huth, the DIA Defense Intelligence Officer for Space and Counterspace, said. So now there's space and counterspace. Wonder when they'll ever run out of space. I don't know. NATO Ukraine arms convoys legitimate targets, says Russia. Now this isn't the first time that something like this has been said. They've said this actually a couple of times before. I have a feeling there's about to be a pretty big hit. Anyway, it says here Russia will perceive convoys delivering arms from NATO states to Ukraine as legitimate targets for its military once they reach Kiev-controlled territory. Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Rebekov warned in an interview published on Wednesday. Regular contact with the U.S. is impossible for Russia, considering Washington's unabashed support for militaristic intentions of the Kiev regime and the pouring of modern weapons into the country by NATO members. The diplomat explained Moscow's goal now is to make it abundantly clear for the U.S. and its allies that Russia will use harsh methods in response to attempts to stymie its military in Ukraine. We are warning that American NATO transports carrying weapons across the Ukrainian territory are considered legitimate military targets, he stressed. Moscow has maintained this position from the early days of hostilities in Ukraine. This week, the Russian Defense Ministry reported destroying 4 launchers from a battery of the S-300 air defense system delivered to Ukraine by an unnamed European nation. Which I actually kind of thought that was humorous because they made sure that they kind of rubbed it in everybody's face that, oh, look, they got these S-300 systems, you know. Didn't even get to deploy them, I don't think. And they got taken out. Crazy. I look at this, and again, I don't know if we're all being duped, and this is all the Hegelian dialectic, and they're going to get us to beg for peace and for a one-world government so there is no more wars and all of this nonsense. I don't know. It could be that. I don't know. No, nobody here on YouTube knows. Okay? I'll put it that way. Nobody on YouTube truly knows whether this is just all a scheme or whether these nations are truly... I mean, don't get me wrong. They're warring. I mean, people are going to war. People are dying. Blood is being spilled. No two ways about it. However, the true motive behind the different nations may be other than what they make it appear. I don't know. I do know that, again, as I've said, I don't know how many times, the only thing that does matter in the end is how we can respond to it. What you can do in your space. That's all we can do. It's all we can control. But I think this is going to ramp up really quick. And hang on, let me have a sip of coffee. And I think the next one is the reason why. Yep. Russia warns Ukraine it might strike Kiev. It says here, Moscow has so far refrained from attacking Ukrainian decision makers, but if Kiev continues attempts to carry out acts of sabotage or conventional attacks inside Russia, this will change, the Russian Defense Ministry warned on Wednesday. We have seen attempts at sabotage and attacks by the Ukrainian military against facilities in Russian territory. If such attempts continue, the Russian Federation's armed forces will strike the decision-making centers, including Kiev, something we have so far refrained from, explained spokesman to Major General Igor Konishnikov. While Konishnikov did not specify which strikes or attempts at sabotage he was referring to, on Monday, Russia declared a heightened terrorism alert in 3 regions bordering Ukraine, Bryansk, Kursk, and Belgorod, and several border municipalities in the regions of Krasnodar, Varozhny, and Crimea. I'm sure I'm saying those way wrong. Air defenses in the Belgorod region have been very active over the past week, according to local media. Kiev first claimed and then denied an April 1st strike by 2 helicopters against a fuel depot south of the city of Belgorod, which resulted in no injuries or deaths but did cause extensive material damage. So I have a feeling that they are going to hit Kiev, and I have a feeling that they're probably going to hit it pretty hard. So, and I saw this article, which I thought the title was very telling. Turkey even saying we're in a new Cold War. Says the conflict in Ukraine has led to a new era of Cold War, with the consequences poised to last for decades, the Turkish president's spokesperson has warned. Ibrahim Kalin has held the role as country's leader Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Taking to Twitter on Wednesday to make his gloomy forecast, Ibrahim Kalin stated that the Ukrainian crisis continues to deepen. The search for a new balance of power, along with short-term benefit calculations, in his opinion, in the medium and long-term perspective, will cause great strategic losses and human drama. We have entered a new era of Cold War. The effects of this war will last for decades, he wrote. Kalin has been the press secretary to his country's leader Recep Tayyip Erdogan since 2014. So, I mean, it's not nothing that we haven't been talking about. So, oh man, I gotta have a couple of vapes. I'm like ready for bed. It was just, like I say, I hate when it's just rainy all day long. And I guess it sucked that the temperature cooled off too, but fun. UN Secretary General addresses Ukraine genocide claims. Says here the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has not followed the example of U.S. President Joe Biden and has stopped short of calling the events in Ukraine a genocide. Okay? On Wednesday, a day after Biden appeared to endorse Kiev's claims that the goal of the Russian offensive was to exterminate the Ukrainian people, Guterres was asked by a journalist if what is happening in Ukraine could be referred to as genocide. Genocide is strictly defined in international law, and for the UN, we rely on that final legal determination by appropriate judicial bodies, Guterres responded. He added that the UN is deeply concerned with alleged violation of human rights as well as the dramatic impact of the conflict in Ukraine. But we leave the definition of whether there is or is not a situation of genocide to the judicial bodies that are relevant in this regard, the Secretary General said, adding that the International Criminal Court had launched an investigation into the matter. And I will read the next paragraph because I was going to mention it as well. So, earlier on Wednesday, French President Macron also declined to join Biden in describing the Russian military's actions in Ukraine as genocide, stressing that he would be careful with such terms. And I'm glad it put that all there. So, yeah, I mean, this is insane. We have a president that can't even complete a sentence, and I'm not making fun of somebody that's got a speaking impediment. I'm telling the truth about somebody that has just not got their mental faculties anymore. Not saying it to mock him or make fun of him or anything else. I'm saying it because we need to get our heads out of our asses because, you know, I don't agree with a lot of what our government has done. Even some little decisions that to me never really made that much sense. One of those decisions, and I can't remember the president, forgive me for that, but there was a president that was in a wheelchair. And they did everything that they could to hide that while he was, campaigning and stuff like that. Because they feared that other nations would see us as weak. And I don't know if it was as much that or concerns of whether or not they'd win the election, period. I don't know. I do remember hearing about it. Now I look at today, and again, I'm not making fun of him. It's a fact. The man can barely complete a sentence. And we let that go on. And I don't know the answer because I don't want Kamala there either. I don't know. I don't know that we've got time to worry about that. I don't seem to think we do. I have a sneaky suspicion that the 2024 election will probably be the last thing on our minds by the time we get to 2024. I don't think there'll be an election. That's why I don't think it'll be on our minds. But we'll see. Got a couple more tabs here, and then we'll do some headlines. Pentagon reveals weapons to be sent to Ukraine. says Washington is expanding the range of weapons deliveries to Ukraine to include artillery, armored vehicles, and helicopters. See, I mean, I'm not getting any of this, right? I didn't get any javelins. I didn't get any stingers. I didn't even get the units to launch them. I haven't gotten any helicopters, armored vehicles, artillery. I still haven't gotten the damn F-15 yet, right? That's been on back order for like a year now. Man, I need to step it up. Washington is expanding the... Oh, I already said that. Pentagon revealed on Wednesday U.S. President Joe Biden, a.k.a. Potato Head, credited the $2.6 billion in weapons he has supplied to Kiev since February with defeating what he called the Russian plan to conquer and control Ukraine. They are not going to stop Russia from conquering Ukraine. Sorry, Charlie. Not going to happen. The steady supply of weapons the United States and its allies and partners have provided to Ukraine has been critical in sustaining its fight against the Russian invasion. You mean just slowing their death? It has helped to ensure that Putin failed his initial war aims to conquer and control Ukraine. We cannot rest now, Biden said in a statement released by the White House after his call with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky. In addition to more of the highly effective Javelin anti-tank missiles and Stinger anti-aircraft rockets, the U.S. will now send new capabilities tailored to the wider assault it expects Russian forces to launch in eastern Ukraine, Biden said. Pentagon on Wednesday afternoon provided some details about the new aid, which it valued at $800 million, about $50 million more than the estimated by leaks to the media on Tuesday. Where the hell is mine? Damn. Right? All they want to do here in the United States is ban weapons. Interesting. Interesting. And then this happened. A Russian warship seriously damaged by explosion, says military. Says here the entire crew of the missile cruiser Moskva was evacuated after an ammunition explosion caused by a fire, the Russian Defense Ministry said in a statement cited by Russian media on Wednesday night. The cruiser suffered serious damage, the Russian military said, adding that the cause of the fire was under investigation. The Slava-class missile cruiser, launched in 1979, is armed with 16 anti-ship missiles and many more air defense missiles, torpedoes, and guns. It is part of the Black Sea Fleet and has been engaged in operations off the coast of Ukraine since February. Ukrainian officials on Wednesday evening claimed that the battery of their Neptune anti-ship missiles hidden in Odessa had successfully struck the Moskva twice, setting the cruiser ablaze. Among those making the claim were Maskim Marshenko, head of the military administration in Odessa, and Anton Gerashenko, advisor to the Interior Ministry in Kiev. They did not provide any evidence for their claims, however. One Ukrainian telegram channel reportedly posted, then deleted a photo of an Iranian vessel that caught fire and sank in the Gulf of Oman last year. The alleged strike against Moskva comes just a day after Ukraine released a postage stamp depicting the fictional Snake Island incident in which 13 Ukrainian soldiers supposedly cursed out that very ship before heroically dying. In reality, 82 servicemen surrendered to the Russian Navy without a fight, and there was no proof the alleged exchange ever took place. So, just more propaganda like they've been trying to pass on. Now, did Ukraine nail the ship? I don't know. They may have. Russia might be embarrassed by it. I kind of have a feeling that that's what happened. They did get the ship. Russia don't want to just openly admit to it. And that's also why I further believe that Russia is going to stomp Kiev. I see it coming. And I think this I think this just kind of guaranteed it. So we'll see. We'll see. That was the tabs that I had open. Have a few drinks here and a few vapes, and we'll run through these and be done. Oh, man. I'm just kind of kicking back and waiting for the announcement that NATO gets involved. So we'll see. All right. Run through the headlines and we'll get out of here for the night. Crypto expert jailed for undermining U.S. sanctions. Bill Gates labels anti-vax protesters crazy. Elon Musk sued over Twitter. Covered that one. Russian trade with China is surging. Russia claims mass surrender of Ukrainian Marines. A threat made to Ukrainian opposition leader. UK sees highest inflation in 30 years. Top oil trader to ditch Russian crude. UN responds to reports of Ukrainian refugees matched with single men. Macron won't join Biden's... Oh, yeah, that was the one that I didn't actually mention. Or that I did. I read it in the article. But yeah, Macron won't join Biden's genocide claim against Russia. Of course, neither did the other cat, the UN. Biden's speech becomes social media hit, and that was because he had a bird poop on him. Let's see. Russia will find buyers for its oil, says Putin. Finland, Sweden acting against own interest, Moscow claims. Germany's sharp recession without Russian energy estimated. Let's see. Washington warns against preserving ties with Moscow. West wants to destroy Russian economy through isolation, says Deputy PM. Covered that. Russia will not nationalize foreign firms' assets, says top senator. U.S. NATO arms convoys in Ukraine legitimate... Oh, I covered that, sorry. Finland and Sweden speak out on NATO membership plans. Kiev explains decision to turn down German president. Most Brits want UK PM to go, says a poll. Ukraine urges Vatican to change its Good Friday plan. A Chinese energy major quits the West, says report. Lawyers outraged over the use of AI in courts. Yes. Insane. And I'm telling you, where was it again? It's trial runs. It will be here, Malaysia. It will come here. I can assure you of that. It's probably already here. You're just not hearing it because it's being kept really far away from the public. Durex maker announces decision on Russia business, so Russia could see a rubber shortage. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be there or not. Meta unveils fees on metaverse sales. Long as Trojan's still there, they'll be fine. Germany brands Ukraine's move regarding its president irritating. Our president is irritating. Kremlin responds to Kiev's idea of swapping Ukrainian opposition leader. Oh, we can swap leaders? Really? Oh, well, how? Let me get back with you on that. I don't know of any that I necessarily would want. Russia's debt shrinks to lowest level in 13 years. French presidential candidate reveals NATO stance. Judge approves case against cocaine using UK troops. Covered that. Wife of captured Ukrainian opposition leader pleads to Erdogan. Europe cancels Moon and Mars missions with Russia. Covered that. We are in a new era of... Oh, I covered that one. UN Secretary General addresses Ukraine. Oh, that's the one I did cover. Sorry. A leader explains which EU states are against sanctioning Russian gas. New York City subway shooting suspect charged with terrorism. I covered that, so I read it anyway, Pentagon reveals weapons to be sent to Ukraine. I think I covered that one too. Russian worst. I did cover that one. Damn, I'll stop covering the ones I covered. Nazi hunter calls out what Canada did in Ukraine. There, now I can't screw up anymore because I'm done. Good. I'm gonna run out and relax. No, I'm tired. Like I say, it's been just a dreary, rainy day. So I'm probably gonna close it up with an early bedtime. So I don't know. I might go fly for a few minutes before I go to bed. Who knows? Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. I do know that much. I hope you all have a good night. Hopefully, God willing, we'll see you tomorrow night. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.